We're at the AIMIM headquarters in Old Hyderabad, and we caught up with the MIM chief, Asaduddin Owaisi. In our conversation, we not just spoke about SIR, which is the big conversation here in Hyderabad and the rest of Telangana, but also about the India bloc and RSS registration that is being spoken about. Do join us for this conversation. So thank you so much for speaking to us. I want to start with what you were busy with, the SIR process. You've started several help desks. You're talking to people, making them familiar with the process of how to make sure that they're not left out. Tell us something, do you worry something like what happened in West Bengal could happen here in Telangana, particularly in Old Hyderabad?
You see, this is the first SIR which is asking people documents. This is the first SIR which is being done in such a way wherein your citizenship is being questioned by the Election Commission of India. And the previous SIRs that were done in a very, it gave the people and the electors a longer period of time. Now a shorter period of time is being given, and our party was one of the petitioners in the Supreme Court when the Bihar SIR started. And I very clearly remember that when the Supreme Court said that we're giving you some time, you come to the court and give us names of the electors who are alive, not shifted, they don't have duplicate name. So our party president, Mr. Akhtar Liman, was a petitioner, with a very short time. So we could give some 1,020 names, telling the Supreme Court that these people are alive, they are genuine voters, they have not shifted, and their names have been deleted. So that was a learning experience. Then in what happened in West Bengal, which we have seen, was very, very worrisome, shocking, that genuine voters, nearly 27 lakh, are still waiting for the tribunals to be formed. And then thirdly, the West Bengal government has clearly said that we will be cancelling all the food security cards. They'll not be getting pensions. I am of the opinion that this should have been done by the Ministry of Home Affairs through NPR and RC. But the Supreme Court has given a judgment. We disagree with that judgment in a respectful way. But now it is a law. So we are duty bound as a member of parliament, as elected representative, that we will have to guide the people. So we have been doing this work in Hyderabad and in Telangana from last nearly 2 months. We have created an app which you must have seen. And through that we do mapping. If people have their names 2002, we write it down. If their names are not there, then the mapping is done to their parents, the paternal or maternal grandparents. And then we give them a form so that from 25th of June, when the BLOs will be coming, they will just have to write what is written in the form. Whether their name is in 2002, they write it down, or if not, then how is their mapping been done? And thirdly, if people don't have documents, we tell them, these documents are required. But the problem in Telangana is that out of 12 documents which Election Commission has given, 3 are not available. NRC has not been done in Telangana. Telangana government does not give permanent residence certificate. There is no family register. And then Aadhaar on its own will not be accepted. So we had given a representation to the Election Commission of India, to the CEO over here, that please include driving license, which is issued by the state government. Please include food security card, which is given by the state government, and also include PAN card, because all these documents ensure an elector to go and exercise right to vote also. So I don't know what will be done. And another important problem is that anomalies. Now it is really surprising that if someone has 6 children, progeny mapping is an anomaly now. In 2002, remember that the voter list in 2002 which was made was done manually. Now if let us say if someone's name is Syed Mushtaq and it was written S Mushtaq, but in the latest 26 it is Syed Mushtaq, that is an anomaly. The age difference between father and son and daughter is 15 years, anomaly. Grandchildren, grandfather, 40 years and less, anomaly. I mean, so these are things which, and then is there any law which prohibits you
Yeah.
from not including your name in the voter list on these grounds? No. Is there a law which stops you from, okay, if you have 6 children, it becomes, how it becomes an anomaly? Our Prime Minister comes from a family of more than 6, Home Minister 6, Yogi Adityanath 6. So, we have given a representation to the Election Commissioner of India to please ensure that these anomalies are looked into, because what will happen, either they can, my apprehension is these names can also not come in the draft list.
Yeah.
Or even if they come, then a notice will be issued to them to appear before the EROs. So it becomes a very cumbersome, tedious process. So we are requesting Election Commission, please, your whole exercise should be inclusive. It cannot be exclusive as such. So it is a bit difficult, and in urban areas people shift also. But this time Election Commission is saying that people who are living in the present places will be given the enumeration form, and then whatever BLOs or BLAs would be their party BLAs. So we had also requested them that Urdu, the second language in Telangana, have a form, enumeration form in Telugu, English and Urdu as well.
Right.
So that also decision we are awaiting. After the Supreme Court judgment, when Supreme Court said that people whose names do not come in SIR, the ECI should report those names which have not come in SIR to the competent authority. Now, who's the competent authority? The competent authority, Ministry of Home Affairs. What they will do, they'll refer it to a 3-member according to the procedure. Those 3 members will refer it to Foreigners Tribunal. Now, I mean, this is going to have a grave impact. And then, according to rumors, which if they are true, that if your name does not comes in SIR, you cannot make a passport.
Yeah.
You cannot buy land. You cannot sell your land. Now, this is nothing like, it's more like making people stateless in their own country. Of course, we don't want any non-Indian names to be there. But, where are we heading? That is the more difficult part. And there's a lot of apprehension. You see, from last 45 days, every day in my office and wherever we have created a help desk centers, every day 500 to 1,000 people come. And with these 3 documents not being available in Telangana, it is becoming difficult.
Are you seeing all those apprehensions and fears being voiced when you're dealing with people?
Yeah, these are all the what I've just told you. These are not mere observations, but we speak to them every day. Where I happen to go around wherever help desk centers are there, and my people tell me, and the voters of that area tell me. So it's very difficult. And then you have girls who come from a different state, get married over here, and before marriage their name was different, irrespective of Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christianity or Dalit. After marriage their name is different. Then their mapping is difficult.
In West Bengal, do you believe that SIR had a role to play in the results where Mamata Banerjee's party was defeated?
If you're asking me why did she lose the election, I would say because of her misgovernance, because of her corruption, because of her complete disconnect with the common masses, and SIR. And also you can add that nothing substantial or even minimum was done for the Muslims over there. So these are the 5-6 important factors. Because of this only Mamata Banerjee lost the election. And BJP was waiting in the wings. And yes, SIR was a factor, but not the factor. If you list down 5-6 factors, that was one of the factors. Now, please understand that you are sitting in my office. This is the work which we are doing. We are not in power. And none of my MLAs is a minister. Why couldn't this work have been replicated by Mamata Banerjee? See, you could have I've seen some posters, some help desk, but nothing substantial.
Hmm.
Had you created with lot of financial wherewithal you had, which no one can deny you have been in power, you could have done, especially in those bordering districts of Malda, Murshidabad, in Kolkata, outside, so many areas, at least in your own strongholds where you had MLAs.
Yeah.
But everything was not done. See, if Mamata Banerjee believes that by going to Supreme Court, it is mere symbolism. And I, as a person who believes in separation of powers, how can an executive go to judiciary? You have a lawyer, send your lawyer, but you are the executive. You are the chief minister. You don't go to the Supreme Court in front of the Chief Justice of India. There is a theory of separation of powers. You are independent, the executive is independent, legislature is independent.
Yeah.
But symbolism overtakes everything for her. So my experience of Bihar made me think more about Telangana. So we have made this app in Telangana, in Delhi, and then in Maharashtra. And then some people came to me that please make this app for us for 3 districts, Uttarakhand. So, that also we have done and given to them. They want to come in to be trained. We have trained them. If a small party like MIM can do it, you are in power, look at the electoral bonds you get. TMC got huge electoral bonds.
Yes.
And then you are in power, you could have easily done it. So, you could have involved the masses. But unfortunately, through SIR, many people are still waiting. 27 lakh people are still waiting. And I have spoken to many NGOs who are doing this work. I don't want to name them because they told me don't name them. They went and met many TMC leaders, the chief minister also. They had shown their apprehension. They have apprised her that, look, don't take this very easy. And you have to be careful and we are willing to help you. But, 1 or 2 meetings and they were forgotten. No, you cannot, it's like bolting the stable doors after the horses have left.
You've also been accused of advising Yusuf Pathan to not protest against the BJP in the SR. Your reaction?
Yes, why not accuse me of those 19 other MPs which have gone? Please accuse me, give me that credit also. I want to take that credit.
Are you also responsible for the Shiv Sena split?
That's what I put on X today. I'm also, what about those Shiv Sena people who have gone? What about DMK leaving the India Alliance? Am I responsible for it? And is Mr. Pathan a small kid? And whatever this so-called conversations happened, it happened a month ago. And then what is this? Everything has to be put on my shoulders. I know I'm Prince Charming for all these people, but for God's sake, do some introspection. You want to blame me, do it. But that is not the truth at all. That's completely slander and lies which is being done. And please check the record. Yusuf was protesting also.
Yeah.
How can I stop a different party members to protest? They protested at that time. They protested afterwards. No, you have an axe to grind with Yusuf Pathan. Please do it. But why use my shoulder? So there is a saying in Hindi, Shikari naya hai, jal purana hai. That is what you're doing.
Right. You spoke of DMK, so I want to ask you about Tamil Nadu. First, what do you make out of Vijay and a new party, TVK, sweeping
To be
elections?
honest, I was not expecting Mr. Vijay to become the chief minister. But people of Tamil Nadu has given him the verdict. And in fact, we had supported DMK. But now IUML and other allies of DMK, including Congress, have joined with Mr. Vijay. So this has happened. It's a very interesting political development. So we'll have to wait and see what happens going forward.
You've always, I remember, spoken about how Congress is not a reliable ally whenever they've accused you of the same. So what did you think of how Congress, for a lack of better word, ditched DMK and went towards Vijay?
So that is what the DMK is saying day in, day out now. DMK stood with Congress party, the Congress party stood with DMK. But DMK feels in that way. The little I know, the DMK feels that they have let them down, and I don't know what will happen going forward, because now the seating arrangements, according to media reports, DMK will not sit with the India
Correct.
bloc.
Correct.
We don't know what kind of political decision DMK would take
Yeah.
with this government. So yeah, it is it's a very huge development as far as Tamil Nadu politics is concerned. But can you rule out DMK? I wouldn't rule out DMK.
Any chance of you, I know you've been asked this again, of you joining the India bloc?
Why are you asking me this question? In Telangana, we had a by-election
Yeah.
few months ago, 5-6 months ago, in Jubilee Hills. We didn't put up a candidate. We had 2 corporators from a big wards in that area. We supported Mr. Naveen Yadav, who once contested for my party a few years ago. And if you see my record in the parliament, wherever BJP has brought a bill, I have opposed it tooth and nail. In fact, one bill of UAP, Congress supported BJP. They supported BJP. And then one bill which was brought about foreign funding political parties, both came together.
Yeah.
So my record as a parliamentarian in opposing BJP is, alhamdulillah, is spotless. I have been opposing them tooth and nail. In fact, even in the recent WAF amendment bill, I had given a Dyson report of 120 pages of telling how those 40 odd amendments are unconstitutional, how it will destroy WAF. Now, the burden does not lie on me. I cannot beg for something. The skies are not going to fall for me. But in Telangana, I have a good working relationship with Mr. Revanth Reddy, the Chief Minister. And I'm thankful to him that one metro link in my constituency was not sanctioned by the previous TRS government. So he had sanctioned it. But the larger question which you have just asked me, I don't know what will happen. But when I went to UP recently, I had said in my speech that in Uttar Pradesh, if we do not want BJP to come back in power, okay, we are willing to have an alliance, but that should be done in a respectful way. Treat us as equal. Bengal, the same thing happened. See, why should only Muslims be voting for these so-called secular parties and BJP keeps winning? If you read Article 37 of the Indian Constitution, talks about political justice. You read the preamble, the first page talks about justice, social, political. Now, why can't the Muslims create their political leadership? What is going to happen? Democracy will be strengthened. This argument from the other side, oh, no, what partition? We are not responsible for partition. I'm ready to debate anyone about Muslim being responsible for partition. Why did you write Article 37 then? When every caste in the Indian politics, within the Dalits also, within the OBC, within the upper caste, have a good political leadership or a semblance of political leadership. Why can't the Muslims have? What is wrong in that? How will it go? See, in last 3 elections, is BJP winning because of Muslims or BJP is getting a huge number of non-Muslim vote? It's the opposite.
Yeah.
But you're putting a burden on me. And who are the sufferers? Whose house is demolished? Muslims, majority. Who's killed or injured and encounter Muslims? Who's being mob lynched? Muslims and other Dalit communities. Who's being verbally targeted day in, day out? Muslims. That is why I feel that it is very important that you create a political leadership. And please read today's Hindustan Times. They've carried a whole data of how many Muslim MLAs are winning and from which constituencies they are winning. What is your contribution? So you either, what these so-called political parties are saying, BJP says will not give any Muslim vote. They have shut this clearly. These secular parties are saying you only become voters. I am saying you become citizen with rights. The moment you become a leader, you become citizen with rights. You are able to help someone. You are able to raise your voice. You're able to put forward those grievances. You're able to put forward an alternate way of solving those communities' problems. You don't have you want Muslims to be only showboys in your political parties.
Okay.
You only want to show them. Now in Karnataka also, you have seen a by-election what happened.
Davangere.
At Davangere. So we only want Muslims to just show, oh, you have one Muslim girl with hijab, one Muslim man with beard and topi, oh, they are with us. What is that? That is not accepting a community as such. You are only using them politically, and after what happens? When you talk about inclusive India, how can you exclude 18, 19 crores of population? You're marginalizing them. That is very, very wrong. I'm telling you, it is not good. It is not good for our democracy. That if you keep on marginalizing them, if you keep on keeping them on tenterhooks, you keep them behind, and indirectly you tell your cadre that yes, we are secular, but don't talk about Muslims. Take Karnataka. What is Mr. D.K. Shiv Kumar? He's a vocal liga.
Yes.
What was Mr. Siddaramaiah? Ahinda. Huh? Everyone. What is Yogi? Thakur. Akhilesh Yadav. Maharashtra, Maratha reservation is a big issue, not the Muslim reservation, which they should get it, the Marathas. So everywhere it is happening. That is okay. Huh? Even if you open newspaper, girl wants to get married to this caste only, boy wants to get married to that girl from this caste only, that is all acceptable. What is not acceptable? No, Muslims should not have a political agency. We want to have political agency. What is wrong in that?
You spoke about Revant Reddy here and having a good working relationship. What do you think of Hydra? In fact, there was threat to Owaisi Hospital as well.
It's an ongoing legal case. Akbar school has to be heard by the court. So we will take it up legally.
But what do you think of Hydra in general and the way it's being implemented? Encroachments have to be cleared, yes. But do you think the way the government has gone about doing it is right?
See, encroachments and all this step which has been taken by Hydra, day in, day out, the Telangana High Court have given oral observations against the Hydra. There is a way of removing encroachment also. But at the same time, please remember that this is a landlocked state. So the growth in Telangana has to happen around the Greater Hyderabad area itself. That is the crown jewel of Telangana. That is why I feel that the government must be careful. The growth of Telangana is completely linked to what happens in GHMC and surrounding areas. The Chief Minister has done a very good thing. He has Future City has created. That also will bring a lot of growth. So these are the things which the government must look into it. There is a huge difference of opinion also. The clearing of stormwater drains or those emergency squads were with the municipal corporation. Now it has been given to Hydra. And you have what, some retired people over there. How will that man know where exactly are the choke points, right? You have to have a local GHMC executive engineer who works in that particular area and who knows very well that with heavy rainfall, if desilting is not done, water stagnation or inundation will happen. Now you have a retired man of some police force, army, you have given them all the equipment, but you require immediate attention. So we have a difference of opinion on such of these things.
Okay. Pawan Kalyan wants to contest elections in Telangana, although he has been fielding, his party JSP has been fielding a few candidates. What do you think of that?
Anyone can contest elections.
Of course.
No one can stop anyone.
But do you think he has chances? Do you think his party will be successful?
Let him test the waters, na? Let him test the waters.
Okay.
Kariye, contest kariye. Who's stopping you? Please contest. You are part of BJP. Remember that. You want to contest?
Part of NDA, technically.
Well, yeah, BJP. You're part of BJP. Now, NDA what? NDA, BJP is the main partner. No one is stopping you. Please contest. And then you talk about those issues which are still creating friction between Andhra and Telangana.
Chandrababu Naidu is now, he's made it into policy as well. He's urging people to have more children.
Yeah.
I want you to comment on that because...
No, I have been saying this based on what I've spoken to experts who were telling all of us from nearly last 15 years that this problem would arise when you'll be having around about 10 to 20% old population in India. What will happen to our economy? How will our hospitals, how will our, caregivers be able to rise up to that level? And then BJP didn't want you to believe it. BJP was only after Muslims. No, they will overtake Hindu community. This is what language of RSS was.
Yeah.
Now that same Mohan Bhagwat is saying that a demographic dividend is going to finish. Now this demographic dividend which we have of 50% population being less than 25 is going to last till when? 2039 or whatever it is. Then we'll be getting old. You went down with this propaganda. Oh, no. Despite TFR rate coming down to 2.1, despite the highest drop in TFR rate amongst all the religious communities was the Muslims. But you went on his propaganda. And now Chandrababu says, oh, if you have one child, I'll give you this. If you have two child, I'll give you this.
Yeah.
What will happen to it after this child goes into school? What will happen to them when he becomes 22 plus, when he requires a job? So what are we doing? No, you want to give money, fine, fantastic, great. It is not your money, it's government money. But what about, how do you make him a good citizen for India? What are you doing for this demographic dividend which we have right now, which no country in earth has, that is India? You have allowed this demographic dividend to become Gaurakshak. You have allowed this demographic dividend youth to go and raise religious slogans in front of masjids. What about this demographic dividend which we have? You cannot even ensure the NEET exam is done properly. You have to bring Air Force. What kind of service or gratitude we are showing to the youth of this country? You want an Air Force to secure the NEET exam paper. For God's sake, this is the civilian administration.
Another fallout of the population is, of course, the delimitation.
Huge. It will be a triggering point in south of India.
Do you believe the 50% formula that they're suggesting could address the concerns of the southern states?
How will it address? If Uttar Pradesh from 80 goes to 120 and Tamil Nadu from 39 will go up to what? 59, right? The gap increases. Now, out of 800 odd MPs, how significant South would be politically? What would be my bargaining power? What would be my bargaining power?
So what would you suggest is the right formula? Or do you want to freeze on delimitation?
There are many things which the government must be open to listen and hear. Please call the chief ministers. Why didn't the Prime Minister took the chief minister into conference in the recent Niti Aayog meeting? And all the South CMs were there, the new CMs were there. He could have done another day. What is your opinion? Please tell us. Why are you not increasing the Rajya Sabha seats? What will happen to Rajya Sabha seat? So, see, why are you penalizing a state which has brought down the TFR rate? I think so. This will be a huge problem for the people to accept in South India, and we don't know what happens when DMK is not there with the India Alliance.
Yeah.
We don't know what will happen with TMC. 19, 20 MPs have merged into another political party. So, but it will be a big issue in south of India.
I want to end by asking your opinion on RSS registration. In Karnataka, Priyank Kharge, who's the new Home Minister, has been insisting that RSS should register as an organization.
See,
where do you stand on that?
I have read A.G. Nurani's book.
Mhm.
And A.G. Nurani Sahab has a chapter on this. RSS, an RSS member had filed a complaint, a member of 30 years.
Mhm.
So Mr. Nurani writes in his book, the late Mr. Nurani, that RSS went to the charity commissioner, their charity organization. They said no, they are a political organization. They went to income tax.
Mhm.
That was also rejected. What is it? What is RSS then? Tell us, please.
They're a body of individuals. That's the latest one.
No. See, Priyank Kharge should have asked what Mr. Nurani had written.
Mhm.
Is this true or wrong? There was a case also pending in Nagpur.
Mhm.
I don't know what happened to that case. But you had gone, your own RSS member had filed a complaint against the RSS.
Mhm.
And what is this? Hindus don't register. What is census then?
But this is an organization. It's not a religion in that sense.
If you are an organization, you have a constitution.
Mm.
And that constitution also came because they were
Patel.
told
Yeah.
by Sardar Patel and the Nehru government, if you want the ban to be removed, place your constitution.
Mm.
Surprisingly, in those communication to the charity commissioner and the income tax, RSS also said, we might become a political party.
Mm.
So what is wrong in showing you have a constitution?
Mm.
So if you have a constitution, then what is that for? Is it only for pulling a wool over people's eyes?
So you think this vague ambiguity is kept deliberately to escape accountability?
Of course, that is what RSS stands for. If one sit downs and follows what Mohan Bhagwat is saying, those so-called Delhi dialogues now, he keeps on changing the goalpost. No, this, no, that. Oh, we can do this. Operation Sindoor, Pakistan is the main enemy. Now we can talk to them. So RSS believes in the theory of what you call that ambiguity.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank
Thank you.